5:30 in the morning. Oh my gosh, it's so early. We have a big day ahead of us, big adventure here. So let's get up and get ready. So, where are we headed on this big adventure this early in the morning? Well, we are headed to the Trinity Site. And if you aren't familiar with the Trinity Site, it is here in New Mexico, and it's where the first atomic bomb was ever detonated in the world. So, all the way back on July 16th, 1945, in the really early morning hours, it was around 5:30 a.m., the U.S. government detonated this bomb. And the crazy part was they didn't warn any of the people around the area before they did this. So you can imagine the shock when they realized, or didn't realize, when all of a sudden they heard this humongous atomic bomb go off. So the Trinity Site opens only to the public twice a year. It's the first weekend, or the first Saturday in April and the first Saturday in October. So since the hubby and I just moved to New Mexico and we were looking for some adventure, we decided that we would go ahead and hit up the Trinity Site on the first Saturday in October. Now, I will say that if you decide that you were going to go because the government didn't warn anybody that they were going to set off this atomic bomb and a lot of the surrounding areas got affected by it, don't be surprised if you see some protesters outside of the site that day. I'll provide some links down below if you want to do some reading on it and why they're protesting, but just something to kind of be aware of. There's some controversy there. So, like I said, Trinity Site is located here in New Mexico. It's actually part of the White Sands Missile Range, and it's not too far from us. So it's far enough that we need to get up early and head over there. So if you go, you have two options. You can either drive all the way up to the northern part of the White Sands and go into what is called the Stallion Gate in the north side, or you can enter from the south. But if you do that, you have to drive to Alamogordo, meet a caravan, and basically be escorted through the military base to the Trinity Site. So, because the caravan leaves so early and we live about an hour away from Alamogordo, we needed to get up at about 4:30 in the morning to get ready, get ourselves in the car, and drive the hour and meet the caravan. But when you get there, you meet at a high school and everybody lines up. They put everybody in rows in their cars, and then you have to wait about a half hour. If you get there whenever they first start, you have to wait an hour, and then straight at 8 o'clock we all leave and form a line and are escorted through the military base up to the Trinity Site. Once we actually got to the Trinity Site, there you have a couple of options. The first one is that you're going to park right next to Ground Zero, so where the atomic bomb actually was detonated and went off. you're only about, I think, an eighth of a mile walk, so it's really, really easy and flat surfaces. So don't worry if you're somebody who has a hard time walking and you just don't want to walk that much. But you go and then you walk about an eighth of a mile and you're in kind of a big circle in the middle of a field surrounded by mountains, and they have an obelisk right where ground zero is. And you can get pictures, you can explore. They also have a ton of pictures up along the fence, and one of my favorites was the ones that showed kind of a time lapse of the bomb at different milliseconds. This was super cool because then you can actually see what the bomb looked like as it was detonating in a very like microscopic second actually way. They also have a replica here of what the bomb looked like before it was detonated, and if you look around on the ground as you're walking around, keep your eye out for little rocks that are kind of a greenish color. These are pieces left over of Trinity, which is a brand new element that was created by the detonation of the atomic bomb. You can see what those look like here in this clip. You can see the little green pieces that look kind of like green shimmery rocks almost. Aside from the ground zero site, you can also take free shuttles from that site, from the parking lot, over to the base camp where the atomic bomb was built and assembled. It's called the McDonald Ranch, and it's really cool because you get to see, one, where the atomic bomb was built. You actually get to go into the room where it was all put together. But you also get to see some of the damage that was left from the bomb. So even though the McDonald Ranch is, I want to say, a couple miles away from ground zero, there still is damage done. So it's kind of crazy to see how powerful the bomb was. So, and it's free to go over there. So that's something that I would definitely recommend doing if you go, so that way you can see two different sites. Okay, so if you are somebody who is interested in coming to New Mexico, or if you are in New Mexico, driving yourself over to White Sands and seeing the Trinity Site on one of its 2 days that it is open, there's a few pieces of information that I will share with you. So like I said, they open it to the public only twice a year, the first Saturday in April and the first Saturday in October. The site is only open from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. with the last admittance at 2 p.m. Now, if you want to do the caravan in the morning, you have to arrive by 7:30, and like I said, it departs at 8. You can follow the caravan back out, but you don't have to. We went out the Standing Gate up north because we wanted to do some other exploring that day. This is also a relatively inexpensive trip to do. So admission to the site is free. There are porta potties, which are free. The shuttle to the McDonald Ranch is also free. The only thing that you would potentially need to buy is gas, and if you wanted to do souvenirs, and they also had some food on site that you could pay for. But other than that, it's awesome that they do it for free, so you don't have to pay just to get in. Now with gas, they say this on their website, but I'll say it as well. Make sure that you are filling up before you enter the base camp or the military site, because there aren't any on the base, and there's no fill up spots on the base, and the base is, I think, from north to south about 100 miles. So if you're somebody who's doing the caravan in particular, you're driving pretty far. So make sure that you're filling up in Alamogordo before you get to the caravan and go up into the military base and then come back down. So really important. And my last piece of advice, if you decide to do this, is to know that the military base is a pretty remote area that covers a large piece of land. So don't expect for your cell phone to work. So keep that in mind in terms of GPS. You probably won't need it because it's pretty easy. They have people navigating you. But your calls and text messaging might not work. So if you get separated from a group or anything like that, it might be difficult to contact each other. So I will link more websites for information. They have some Q&A stuff on their website about the day. So if you are in fact interested, you can check those out and kind of plan your trip. I would highly recommend going, especially if you're somebody who is interested in bombs or some war history or anything like that. It was a really cool site. It's such an interesting site because, like I said, it's the spot where the very first one was ever detonated. So I would say that not very many people can say that they've been here, and to actually stand where it was detonated is a really cool and interesting feeling. So I hope that you enjoyed kind of following us along a little bit on the day, seeing some clips that I took throughout our trip. If you have questions about the Trinity site or wanting to visit, just let me know in the comments below and I can try to point you in the right direction or tell you more about our day. And if you like this video, feel free to like it and feel free to subscribe as well. It really means a lot to me to build this channel. So until next time, guys, bye.